Uh, so I just got off a long phone call and series of email chains and wanted to talk some more about the difficulties in dealing with long-term disability. I have a pretty ridiculous example that I would like to talk through so that those of you who haven't had to go through this process understand or can relate, hopefully, to how ridiculous this is. And those of you that have can know that you're not alone, and it's so hard. And I have so much respect for anyone who keeps fighting to get their long-term disability, because it is a battle that sick people have to do. You know what I mean? A battle that people who are already... Anyway. So, I was told that my claim for PTSD is not substantiated in the same denial letter where they said it has been approved that you have PTSD. I'd like to actually read a little bit, honestly, from this document. In summation, the clinical data provided does support the diagnosis of post-traumatic stress disorder. As for the diagnosis of PTSD, which was added August 1st, 2012, the information the records provided does not support the diagnosis for post-traumatic stress disorder. According to criteria to diagnose a person with PTSD, the person has been exposed to a traumatic event in which both of the following were present. The person experienced, witnessed, or was confronted with an event or events that involved actual or threatened death or serious injury, or a threat to the physical integrity of self. The person's response involved intense fear, helplessness, or horror. It goes on to describe traumatic events that are experienced, directly include but are not limited to. There's a whole bunch that don't apply to me, but violent personal assault and torture. Now, torture, that's a tough word, and I understand that. But I was 4 years old, and I thought I was being tortured and punished because I had done something wrong when I experienced my genital assault in a hospital. Not to mention the multiple sexual assaults in my life and rape in college. And honestly, who knows what else I'm going to remember as I start dealing with these memories. So in the same document, the clinical data provided does support the diagnosis of PTSD. The information in the same thing, the information in the records provided does not support the diagnosis. And this is in the next paragraph. So they're contradicting themselves in the same denial letter. And when I tried to talk to them about it, they said you have to go through the appeals process. And so I put in a letter for a request for an appeal. And apparently, since I said I officially disagree with the LTD decision and sent that on January 4th, they didn't count it and didn't tell me until today that I had to say the word appeal. So I said disagree instead of appeal. When I still didn't even have official documentation that I had been denied. So if you can follow that, I'm impressed, first of all, because it took me a long time to even get here. And I know people say they always reject you the first time, but for 6 months I've been trying to prove that I'm sick at the same time as trying to get healthy. And I know it's about money and corporations and all these other things, but as naive as it is, I wish there was more support out there. So yeah, the hospital I was hospitalized in the psychiatric ward, and my 2 other doctors, in addition to everyone I talked to while I was hospitalized, all diagnosed me with PTSD. All of them. And it's in the clinical data that they have. and they still say I don't have PTSD. It's so hard to try to learn to trust yourself and heal when you're being told you're not even sick by people who are experts. And I know I need to learn to not trust as much, but at the same time, I'm also trying to learn how to trust as part of my healing from PTSD so that I'm not always hypervigilant and not always scared of people. And then I spend, a half hour crying on the phone with some long-term disability insurance company, and they just keep saying, I'm not a medical doctor, you'll just need to go through the appeals process. What am I appealing? It states right there. So anyway, I feel for all of you that have been going through this kind of thing or have dealt with it. And please wish me luck as I continue to try to fight this. I'm 6 months in. And I just want to get the support and medical support and financial support I need to get healthy. Any of you watching this, I'll add the link to my PTSD fundraiser in case you can post it anywhere. I could really use the help. But prayers and positive thoughts are just as, if not more important. Thank you.